Season 5, Episode 26. I'm back. Thank you to the person in the room who was a fine guest host yesterday. I've watched half of her show and it was very good. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. Why don't you? Otherwise, what have we got today? We've got The Sun, The Times, The Daily Mail and The Daily Telegraph. I'll be doing The Daily Telegraph as the speed run, so expect that to be hellacious. What else is happening? Oh, I have not changed the episode number at the top here. That's a fatal error on my part. Well, not fatal, but it's an error. Let's just tick that up to 26. It's actually episode 26. Right. We're going to start with The Sun. We're going to move on to The Times. We're going to move on to a speed round through the Daily Telegraph, and then we're going to move on to the Daily Mail and the Times in the other order. How dare you disrespect Dr. Doom like this? Yeah, I can only apologise, Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm also disrespecting the Red Skull, which he won't be happy about, and Loki. So, a lot of disrespect to go around. Hello to you in the Business Factory, SK the Crusader. How are you doing? Good to see you here on this day of dark energy, as Priti Patel speaks at the Conservative Party conference. Anyway, let's get on with the first paper, and the first paper is The Sun. Front page of The Sun. If you hear any noises in the background, it's a person in the room in the kitchen trying to sabotage my show now that she wants to run the show herself.
Do you want lamb chops or not?
I do want lamb chops. Red Tick says, bring back person in the room. She's here. She's merely out of shot, but she is still here.
Hello, lovely people.
Right. Front page of The Sun. We've got in the top right-hand corner them floating what Priti Patel has just said in her speech. She also took a chance in her speech to take the time to announce an inquiry into systematic failings in the police and the murder of Sarah Everard, using that as a applause line in her speech rather than announcing it, last week when she should have. Anyway, we know the inquiry will be nothing. Red Tick person in the room actually read what Chloe was saying. Yeah, okay, okay, Red Tick Seed. That may be a development we like. Logano 9 going downhill after yesterday, in my opinion. Hello, Kinyu 92. Use weapons. Afternoon, Mick. Back from hitting IDS with a cone in Manchester. I can neither confirm or deny whether I hit IDS with a cone. Frankly, if I was going to throw anything at him, it would be a lot heavier. Hey, Heathmore 2401. Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to beat the mob that are entrusted to maintain the motorways. Yeah. On the left-hand side, Double Doe 7. It's the latest Bond film making a load of money. That's where I was yesterday watching Bond with my ma. I quite enjoyed it. On the right-hand side, new skate judge. Ice to see you back, Arlene. Dance legend 78 in TV return. Is this confirmed? No, it's not. It's a rumour, but has the Sun put it on their front page? Of course they have. Because, while we've got shortages in the shops, a continuing petrol shortage, all that kind of thing, the key bit of news for the front page of a consent manufacturing machine like the Sun is that Arlene Phillips, who used to be on Strictly, might be on the subpar Dancing on Ice.
Arlene Foster is in Dancing for Ice.
Yes, that's correct. Tivillis has said, okay, but did the cone make it back home to its statue in Glasgow? Yeah. Anna de Armas is the second hottest Cuban after Fidel, says use of weapons. She is hot. Yeah, nothing more important going on than staffing issues at Dancing on Ice. On page 3, that isn't page 3, but is page 3, Ag Mag Joy. Model Nina Agdal, who's she, shows off the looks which have made her one of the most coveted stars in magazines. She's going to be in Sports Illustrated. And also on that page, Josh Widdicombe is apparently related to Henry VIII. They're just trying to get the same buzz they got from the Danny Dyer, who do you think you are, when they found out that he was related to royalty. On pages 4 and 5, the suspected that Major General Matt Holmes, who was removed just 20 months into a 3-year post as posting as the boss of the head of the Royal Marines. He's suspected to have taken his own life. Of course, the Sun reports on that in a way which is completely at odds with the Samaritan's Guidelines on Reporting Suicide. Yu-Gi-Oh! Asks, is that model in the swimsuit edition? Yes. And then on pages 4 and 5, you've got who's going to be on Dancing on Ice. On page 6, Pretty's Asbo for Eco Mob. Zealots leader says I'd block ambulance. I'm fully believe that the Insulate Britain people are an op designed to allow these new restrictions to be brought in. And incidentally, what she announced in the speech was that there's going to be more restrictions on protests that affect key infrastructure. And remember how often she's had private dinners with Rupert Murdoch? Our free press. On page 7, story about a mother who was in a COVID coma who gave birth during that, or they took the baby out during that, and the baby is well. On pages 8 and 9, Tories in Manchester, Rishi, I'll fill pandemic black hole. Build back Sunak is the headline. And Boris Johnson's amazingly discovered a sports top to run in. Yeah, Insulate shows up out of nowhere. Yeah, exactly. E. Blair fan says, if Spy Cop's evidence is any guide, the treasurer of XR is probably a cop. Use of weapons. Insulate Britain is shite. Remember when Gladio was hard? Yeah. Page 10, social media hit by WhatsApp apocalypse. The funny thing about the reporting on all the social media outages, because of the outage at Facebook, is every paper we're going to look at today went to press before that ended, so their stories are pointless. On page 11, Lashana Lynch stars as the replacement 007 in No Time to Die, is pictured wearing a latex skirt that she's wearing in Porter magazine. She's very good in that film. And Bond made £21 million this weekend. On page 13, officer from Killer's Unit, Met cop raped woman after Tinder date, claims denied in court. A Met police colleague of killer cop Wayne Couzens is accused of raping a woman he met on Tinder. Firearms officer PC David Carrick, 46, is alleged to have carried out the sex attack at a hotel in September last year. He, of course, denies the charges. And if you were to say that the orchard is entirely rotten, it'd be very unfair, wouldn't it? Very unfair. Right, here's something that's going to drive you absolutely mental, because I know it did me. Remember the red wall? Well, we're done with that. Now we're on to the little Tories who want a good deal from Boris. And then in the analysis at the bottom, Matthew Goodwin, the book eater, says little Tories could also be called the Greggs guys, people who work hard, are patriotic and play by the rules. Let's see what some of the little Tories have to say. Red Wall with the mice. I used to love the Red Wall books. Wedding planner Poppy Brown, 21, who voted Tory in 2019, had just set up her business when COVID struck. She was unable to claim any government help. Now her business is taken off, but she struggled to get petrol to go to work. She said, putting up national insurance after having no help during the pandemic is another pressure. I have to consider whether it's possible to stay self-employed. Right, so this all sounds a bit shit for her, doesn't it? And she says, I may well vote Tory again. How long has the Red Wall lasted? Less than 2 years. Yeah, and it was a complete fabrication. It was a creation of one pollster. Also in these little Tories they talked to, mortgage broker Leanne Couch, 36, who was shopping for her 6 kids aged 1 to 15, said, I wanted the UK to leave the EU and I like conservative policies. Then the pandemic hit. Any party in their position would have struggled. I think Boris has done a fantastic job. Okay, tell that to the families of the 120,000 people who've died on his watch. If it had been a Labour government, I don't think the vaccine rollout would have been as fast. Based on what? Based on what? That said, everything has gone up in price. I accept this is part of Brexit, but I don't think the government can do any more than they're doing. I'm sticking with Boris. Ricky Heffernan and his wife Debbie both voted for the Conservatives. They voted Labour once or twice in the last 10 years, but I think Boris is great. And builder Ross Carr said he switched to the Tories because Labour are pretty poor. He would consider voting Labour, but it would depend on whether the right person was in charge. The right person. On page 13, sorry, we covered that page 13, I just went back to that. Clemmy Moody, BBC must follow Sajid's steps and tell Strictly stars no jab, no jive. Ulrika Johnson is naked in the paper again for no particular reason, this time writing about the menopause. William Shatner's going into space. Dave Grohl is going to be reading the CBeebies bedtime story on Friday. He's reading Octopus's Garden, a book written by Ringo Starr, based on the song of the same name. On page 25, Not Tonight, Jodie Fiend. Killing Eve's Jodie Comer is a lady in red, but she's shooting her raciest role yet. The BAFTA award winner is stripping off in director Ridley Scott's new blockbuster about French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte. The movie, called Kitbags, sees a 28-year-old as Josephine, the famed military leader's first wife, alongside leading man Joaquin Phoenix, 46, as Napoleon. Sources say Jodie dares to bear for a series of intimate scenes. The Sun, always watching it for the plot. Kim and Kanye's divorce is apparently on hold. They might reconcile. I mean, according to The Sun. Don't you mean William Shatner is going into space? Yes, I do. They got one of their journalists to do sport while wearing a shirt like Boris Johnson, whatever. Joaquin Phoenix is surely too tall for Napoleon, says Chronotherm. Well, the whole thing about Napoleon being short is apparently untrue. On page 27, fury over silly censor. Where's Willie? Tea towel makers cover up his chalk sword with shoot. A tea towel company has been accused of making a huge cock-up by censoring the Cern Abbas giant's Willie. Okay, so the Sun is saying here that it absolutely needs to see the chalk cock in all pictures of this. If the chalk cock isn't present, it's not canon. Like, honestly, chalk sword, yeah. Its cloth features the ancient naked chalk figure with a paraglider covering his 36-foot erect todger. And also, fury. Fury. Who's furious about a tea towel? If you're furious about a tea towel, you shouldn't be allowed out. You should be locked up at all times for the protection of everyone else, because you don't have a grip on life. You're angry at a fucking you're shouting at a tea towel. Right. Moving on. On pages 28 and 29, crime writer on his brush with the law and a new TV game show. I feared I would become serial killer, Bible John's next victim, says Ian Rankin. I really like Ian Rankin. I wish he was not in The Sun. Seamus O'Reilly has an excellent autobiography, Did You Hear Mommy Died, that came out this summer about growing up in Northern Ireland in a family with 10 siblings. Yeah, he did, and it's a really good book. If you're hearing any noise, that's the person in the room refilling the freezer in like a kind of food Jenga, which is, in TV biz. I don't care, actually. A TV recommendation. They review Blair versus Brown, the New Labour Revolution. So loud!
I'm so sorry, I can't find the story number.
Blair versus Brown, the New Labour Revolution, BBC Two last night. I haven't watched it yet. I mean, I probably will. Red Tixie, to be honest, if someone gave me a tea towel with a swastika on it or something, I'd probably be pretty furious. Yeah, but I mean, if it was about whether you could see a chalk cock on it or not. Yeah, food Tetris. Food Tetris in the freezer, yeah. I said food Jenga, I meant food Tetris. Thank you for the correction, Yu-Gi-Oh! Follow back, pro cock. In Dear Deirdre, he lost all our wedding money, then dumped me. Well, I feel like you got a lucky escape there. And it's about online gambling, something that The Sun pushes at all times. I keep cheating with best friend. Every relationship I have fails, and then I end up back in bed with my best friend. I love her, but we can't be together. Why not?
The new agony aunt bit for me is just to say bin him.
Bin him.
Yeah.
Bin him. Wife showing signs of having an affair. My wife started getting her hair and nails done every 2 weeks. She must be seeing someone else. What else could it be? Maybe she just wants to feel better about herself. Possibly. Internet porn is his only turn on. My boyfriend hasn't had sex with me for 3 years and we've been together for 4. It's weird. He says he can't get an erection, though he has no problem when he pleasures himself using porn. Like, The Sun loves to say it like that. He was caught pleasuring himself. Bin him. A whole page of bin-ims there. Fab Daily. I lost a child too. My heart breaks for Sarah's mum, says Lauren Lefavre. Okay, well, that's very sad. Blair versus Brown 2 Requiem. Blair versus Brown. Whoever wins, we lose. Is that a documentary that Adonis tweeted about implying he killed Chilcott? Yes. In the Batch Lady today, Katsu Curry. Well, I fucking love Katsu Curry. I actually might make that. Blair versus Brown 3 Revelations. Yeah. Okay, today's £50 letter comes from Sandra Queen of Arlo in Essex. It's like I'm in the production of that play that goes wrong or something. It's just everything's crashing and banging in the background. Sandra Queen of Harlow, Essex says, I applaud ITV for having the courage to sack Dancing on Ice judge John Barrowman for reportedly exposing himself on the sets of BBC shows like Doctor Who and its spin-off Torchwood. Torchwood, is it? This cannot have been easy. Mr. Barrowman also deserves credit for recognising he has issues and booking himself into therapy. Let's hope it works for him and he's back on our TV screens soon. No. Noise. Still better production values than GB News. Yeah. Thank you for redeeming Hydrate. Blur versus Brown 2. The Wrath of Murdoch. Okay, here's today's piece of utter abject shit. Get yourself an illuminated glitter globe with moving train. It's a Hogwarts Express glitter globe. And it's apparently expertly hand-sculpted, hand-painted Hogwarts. Bollocks. And an architectural stone base includes the house symbols for Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw and Slytherin. What I love about this is they've had to put the trademark symbol on every one of those house names. This could be yours for only £119. They're trying to sell you fruit trees and other shit. And in the sport, Fergie's OG. He's caught having a pop at Solskjaer for resting Ronaldo. So there you go. That is... Hogwarts Bollocks should have its own sound. Yeah, Mick signed on to GB News, the new Wharton. Yeah, sorry, that's what's happening. I'm replacing Dan Wharton. I'm going to start my first show by talking about every conspiracy theory I like and then begging Rupert Murdoch to hire me. Anyway, that is the Sun minus, what? A quadruple negative nice. Quintuple negative nice. Minus 69, minus 69, minus 69, minus 69, and minus 69. Enjoy. Use of weapons says a Ronaldo-related thing in the chat. Yeah, isn't it interesting that the sexual assault allegations against Ronaldo are still not appearing in most papers? Red Tick Seed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jacinda Ardern witch story. I just skipped over that. It's just bullshit. Do try to put context on your comments, because otherwise I just sort of don't know what the hell's going on. But in this case, yes, hang on. I'll find the Jacinda Ardern story. I think it was on a offside page. I don't know what's in there anyway. They do a thing claiming Jacinda Ardern's a witch. It's ridiculous. Right. Alright, we're going to do a speed run through the Telegraph in a second. Oh, it's in the Telegraph, is it? Okay, cool. Touchwood out of the RTD Doctor Who Extended Universe. Frugalist equals minus sun rating, minus number, I don't know, I'm tired. And Heathmore 2401 says triple negative nice for turf trains. Okay, so we're going to do let's say... Telegraph in 2 minutes, right? Which is going to be horrendous. And, yes. So let's do that. Boom. There we go. Right. Here we go. Oh, 21 minutes in. On to the second paper. Boom. Right. 2 minutes. Starting now. This is be a complete shit show, so do enjoy. Just going to... Thank you for redeeming Hydrate, C122, H122. Yeah, it takes 2 minutes to turn the pages. That's the thing, it is a challenge Right, and the clock has started. On the front page of the Telegraph, Judith Woods. Hello, is there anybody actually in charge of Chaos Britain? Yeah, the government that your paper constantly supports. Business drunk on cheap labour is the line that the government are now trying to push. Which is sort of true, but also they were fine with it until they decided not to be. Will the BBC be here in 10 years' time? I don't know, says Nadine Dorris. Answer, she really doesn't want it to be. But there's a new pacemaker found to lift depression, apparently. Brain pacemaker. I'm suspicious of this idea. Publisher scraps Walliam's story of Chinese boy after racism claims. It was called Brian Wong, who was never, ever wrong. And it looked fucking racist, frankly. Ministers fight back over supply chain issues. NI protocol decision needed by next month. Michael Gove is awful. He says, leveling up is living your best life. Priti Patel in an interview says, police to drug test every arrested person to cut violent crime. They're going to hack down on middle-class drug takers, which means don't worry people in the cabinet because you're not middle class. I'm entitled not to listen to Sage, says Javid. A guy with cerebral palsy went up to and criticised Jacob Rees-Moggs. Officer from the same Met unit as cousins accused of rape. Yard chief launches independent review after boys club claims. Yeah, right, don't believe it. Crowd call for the release of Georgia's jailed former president. Belgian frigate rejected from NATO exercise. French Catholics brace for child abuse bombshell. Is it really a bombshell when it's child abuse in the Catholic Church? It's more like, yeah, did we not expect that? Bjorn Lomborg says we need green research, not more failed climate targets. The starry woman of Whitehall, Sherelle Jacobs, says betting the house on levelling up is Boris's greatest political gamble yet. Right. Ian Dale has a column. Jesus. Judith Woods has a feature. Is anyone in charge here? Yes, your former colleague. The incredible fall and fall of Jacinda Ardern. They say she's praised for decisive pandemic reaction, but a vaccination rate stall. The cracks in her plan are emerging. Celia Walden has a thing on menopause, and that is the Telegraph. There you go. New revelations. Turns out water is wet, says Red Tixie. Yeah, I know. I'd be surprised if they found someone in the Catholic Church who wasn't a sex offender. Cheap labour, no cheap liquor. Levelling up is meaningless, totally meaningless. And the guy questioning Mog is a BAMF. What is a BAMF? Badass motherfucker. Oh, amazing, yeah. It's because it's, yeah, it's great. Thank you for the assistance. A column for a pensioner assaulter is off-brand. The man, Mick, right. Yeah, okay, so that was your Telegraph in 2 minutes. We spent enough. Williams is racist. Who knew, apart from anyone who saw his TV series in the 2010s when he was blacking up. Multiple times. The only man in British television who's blacked up more than David Baddiel. Right, now, moving on to the Times. Just laughing at E. Blair fans, a column for a pensioner assaulter is off-brand. Oh, by the way, Ian Dale makes a brief cameo appearance in... What the fuck? I can't put anything in the chat. I've got to log in. You motherfuckers, broken bottle boy.
Yeah, I tried to do that yesterday and it didn't work. It wasn't me though. That's me swearing at the start of the show.
Yeah, it's you swearing because the camera wasn't open.
Yeah, but also because I couldn't get the chat.
Okay, now it's connecting to the chat. Come on. And now I can't see anything in. If you just said something in the chat, Retix. There are some things I've heard about Williams that are worse than blacking up. Yes, me too, but I cannot say them on stream. Anyway, today's newsletter. Tiff Ilias, Williams has blacked up more than Justin Trudeau. Yu-Gi-Oh! The only man on British TV who's blacked up more than Johannes Vonk. Love a Trash Future crossover. Slenkermeyer says, yeah, there have been a shit ton of accusations. Yeah. Right, here we go. The Times. Top of the page. Sexism and misogyny, what the police saw. That's in the Times too. And on the right-hand side, the man behind the biggest Netflix hit ever. Now, the guest presenter yesterday accused me of never doing the Times 2, and that's not true. I do, I just don't always do it in full. Maybe we'll cover it, who knows. LHS bosses face sack for failing to cut weights. Javid will seize control of poor hospitals. This is complete horseshit, as usual. Completely briefed in, as you can see from the yellow, indicating from briefing. On the right-hand side, visas attract just 27 fuel drivers from the EU. Well, if you tell people to fuck off, they're very unlikely to want to fuck on again when you decide it would be convenient for you. Particularly if you say, oh yeah, come back, but only for 3 months, then you can fuck off again. Bollocks. Inside, Captain Kirk hurtles at last towards that final frontier. When I saw that headline at 4:30 this morning, I thought that they meant he was dead. But no, he's just going into space. Snobbish BBC may not exist in a decade, Dorries predicts. I just wanted to say I hope Nadine Dorries doesn't exist in a decade. That's not a threat of assassination, it's just a heartfelt wish. On page 4, electric brain implant offers hope to millions with severe depression. I'm really suspicious about... There's something about that makes me unsettled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a brain... police officer remanded in custody on rape charge. Well, we covered that. Defiant chief announces review of culture at the Met. Yeah, Piranha suggests that other piranhas might eat less meat. Nadine will die someday, says Red Tick Seed. I don't know. I feel like she might be some sort of eldritch being. ECT worked well. Yeah, okay, that's true. Yes, thank you, Kate. I'm Paverus. Hi, Dad. My dad is in the chat. Hello. C122, H122 in Minecraft, Doris should be. Yeah, bet Nadine will change her tune if the Beeb commissions one of her books. Use of weapons. Honestly, ambivalent about BBC continuing to exist. They pay Laura Koonsberg repeats anything from WhatsApp Koonsberg. Yeah, it's important to stack up debt. It's immoral to stack up debt for future generations, says Sunak. Yeah, but this, again, is a fallacious way of talking about how state money works, right? The way that national debt works is not like me having credit card debt and dying and passing it on to a family member, right? Because states have the power to monetize their debt, to do things with their debt, to issue bonds, to issue gilts. It's really complicated, but it's not... we still get presented by people like the Times, people like people like the BBC. Laura Koonsberg consistently does this credit card, household budget analogy for the state, and it just doesn't work like that. I can't print extra money, but the state can. Not long ago, we paid off the Napoleonic Wars and slave owners. Yeah, debt isn't real, money isn't real, Rishi, you idiots. Use of weapons. You small idiot, in fact. Quentin Letts is awful. And he says, Rishi and his random pointing have potential. That'll be a line coming straight down from his boss, Lord of Latveria, Rupert Murdoch. Woman tells of assault in hotel bar. An executive is described being violently assaulted at conference bar at the Conservative Party conference. Yeah. Are we surprised? Are we surprised? Do we remember when a minister assaulted a woman on camera at a dinner event, and that was just fine? Pig cull begins as farmers plead for foreign butchers to be let in. But Boris Johnson continues to just pretend he doesn't understand why that's a problem. Pandora leaks out spotlight on finances of Tory donors. Nothing will happen from that. Wealthy pensioners' disappearance becomes murder inquiry. Wealthy pensioner disappeared in August, was defrauded, held against her will, and murdered, detectives fear. Jesus Christ. Help workers going through the menopause, says the Countess of Wessex. Dementia linked to high blood pressure in your 30s and 40s. Ex-head of the Marines found dead, age 20. Yeah, age 54, sorry. He was in his job for 20 months, and it's not clear to me why he was removed from that job. Let me see. He was changed. He was given Holmes, who lived in Hampshire, was removed from the post as head of Royal Marines in April. He was given another role within the service that included helping Royal Marines recruits with their welfare. He's not happy about the change of roles, a defence source said. He was replaced by Lieutenant General Rob McGowan, who was more senior with a 3-star rank. Holmes had argued that the job should remain one for a 2-star general. Holmes' older sister Sarah said last night that he had been about to leave the forces. He'd been preparing for life in the civilian world, but had no work lined up and didn't know what he'd do. Yeah. Thanks, E. Blair fan. Thanks for joining. Do catch the rest of the show on YouTube. C122, H122 says, I'm trying to print my own money. It's not legal. Yu-Gi-Oh! Allow the people to print their own money. Oh, wait, we tried that and it created Greensill. Will Keir be happy with dead pigs? I think, well, they're not dead alpacas, so we won't enjoy that as much. Lockdowns left 12,000 women with undiagnosed breast cancer as the headline. Okay. Very bad. COVID claims Bridgerton stylist, 53, award-winning hair and makeup artist who worked on the Netflix blockbuster series Bridgerton has died of COVID-19 at 53. Troubles victim had the mind of a child. This is absolutely... I know the person in the room talked about this story yesterday. Man shot dead during the Troubles had the mind of a child. The trial of a former British soldier charged over the killing has been told. Dennis Hutchins, 80, from Cornwall, denies the attempted murder of John Patrick Cunningham, who was shot in the back as he ran away from British Army patrol in County Tyrone in 1974. This was a man with learning difficulties who was terrified by men in uniform. He ran away and he was shot in the back. Hutchins, a former member of the Lifeguards, also denies inflicting grievous bodily harm on Cunningham, 27, who had learning difficulties and was said to be afraid of the military and people in uniform, which is not irrational in Northern Ireland in 1972. Charles McCrean, a QC for the prosecution, told Belfast Crown Court that a local parish priest had said Cunningham had the mind of a child. He said the shooting was unjustified and went beyond the Army's own rules of engagement. McCrean accepted that the case against Hutchins was circumstantial. He's not facing a murder charge because there were no forensic evidence to identify which bullets struck the victim. Isn't that lucky? These bullets, the court was told, were never recovered from the scene. Also convenient. Ministers are preparing to introduce a de facto amnesty for those accused of unsolved crimes from the Troubles, but it will not apply to those already going through proceedings. The Diplock-style non-jury trial, presided over by Mr. Justice O'Hara, was told that on the day of the shooting, the victim was walking on a rural road near his home when two Army Land Rovers came round the corner and met him. McGregor said the soldiers on the patrol had described the victim as seeming startled, confused or surprised. He said that the victim began to run and climbed over a gate into an adjoining field. Hutchins gave chase along with another soldier who is now dead. Second soldier, named as Soldier E in previous statements, said he had overtaken Hutchins in the chase. Soldier E said he had cocked his weapon when Cunningham turned round with his hand inside his jacket. The court was told that he heard a shot fired from behind him, then several others, and saw Cunningham fall. The trial continues. Technical College has justified sacking of a lecturer after he lightly threw a piece of cardboard at a sleeping student, an employment tribunal said. Steve Dix, been teaching for 2 decades and had an unblemished record, acknowledged that he lobbed a piece of cardboard at the teenager who sat up bleary-eyed. Student was wearing a hoodie, had his face down on the desk for 15 minutes, and had not responded to his name during a workshop. The lecturer sued Neath Port Talbot College in Wales, arguing the decision to sack him had been unduly harsh. Panels ruled that Dix was reckless in throwing the cardboard. Despite the ruling, Dix won his claim of unfair dismissal over the technical flaws in the investigation process, but will receive no compensation because he would still have been sacked if the process had been fair. See you, Frugilus. Thank you for joining. Do check it out on YouTube. Different views in the chat here. Yu-Gi-Oh says let students sleep, but Use of Weapons says throwing things at students is funny. Frustrated drivers drag protesters off the road. More things on the absolute op. That is Insulate Britain. Climate experts call for end to luxury lifestyles of the ultra-rich. Well, I'm sure that'll happen. A nurse is suing over a ban on wearing the cross. A nurse is suing a London hospital. I feel like we get these once every few years. A nurse is suing a London hospital for discrimination because she claims that administrators bullied her to remove or cover up a Christian cross necklace. Well, so it's not a ban on wearing it. Mary Anuha, 61, an operating theatre specialist at Croydon University Hospital, tell an employment tribunal that she was treated like a criminal for wearing a small gold cross. Tribunal in South London will hear from the nurse's lawyers that Croydon Health Services NHS Trust breached Anuha's right to manifest her faith as protected under human rights and equality legislation. This is being pushed by the Christian Legal Centre. A fact that they leave till the end of the story. William Hague says Tories have 3 reasons to be cheerful: a powerful leader, a trusted lieutenant driving change, and a flow of bright ideas. Well, who could have imagined that a Tory peer and former Tory party leader would say that? Small cross, it says, C122, H122. Melanie Phillips says we're sliding from protest rights to mob rule. We're not. Get the jab if you want a tip-top transformer. Giles Corrin does this weird thing where he quotes from Kenyan newspapers, basically doing the aren't Africans funny thing. It's pathetic. Use of Weapons says the religion, a great thing. This came over. I know, it's ridiculous. Mel Phillips is a dickhead, says Albert Camus. Not unreasonable. Hugo Rifkin says, Who will do the jobs that nobody wants? These disruptions aren't just about pigs, petrol, and power. It's a rude awakening about how our whole economy works. It is, and can we please just pay people fairly for jobs that need doing? C122, H122, rob Giles Corran's car. Yes, may Giles Corran never have a car go unstolen. Right, today's birthday. Did you do the birthdays yesterday? I didn't get round to the birthday section. Oh, okay. Bob Geldof is 70. Peter Ackroyd, the author, chief book reviewer for The Times until 2010, is 72. Clive Barker, writer and film producer, is 69. Nice. Stephanie Cole, actress, is 80. Ollie Dabus, the chef and owner of Hyde in London, is 41. Dame Laura Davies, golfer, winner of the US Women's Open in 1987, is 58. Jesse Eisenberg, the actor, is 38. Sir Philip Hampton, the chairman of GlaxoSmithKline until 2019, is 68. Glynis Johns, the actress, is 98. Brian Johnson is 74. Brian Johnson of AC/DC, happy birthday to him. Imran Khan, politician, prime minister, and cricketer, is 69. Nice, but not nice, because Imran Khan is pretty awful. Roy Laidlaw, the rugby union player for Scotland until 1988, is 68. Robin Lane Fox, the historian, is 75. Steve Miller, guitarist and songwriter in the titular band, the Steve Miller Band, is 78. Sir Michael Morpurgo, the author and children's laureate, is 78. Hugh Morris, chief executive of Glamorgan County Cricket Club, managing director of the England and Wales Cricket Board until 2013, is 58. Parminder Nagar, actress known for Bend It Like Beckham and ER, is 46. Guy Pearce, the actor, is 54. Nicole Roberts, Girls Aloud, 36. Nick Robinson, journalist, presenter on the Today programme, BBC Radio 4, and former political editor of the BBC, is 58. Lord Richard Rosser, the General Secretary of the Transport Salaried Staffs Association until 2004, is 77. Lord Adair Turner of Eccleswell, the Chairman of the Financial Services Authority until 2013, is 66. Sam Warburton, the rugby union player for Wales until 2017 and the British and Irish Lions tour captain in 2013 and 2017, 33. Kate Winslet, the actress, 46. Sam Younger, chairman of the Consumer Association, which and the Voluntary Services Overseas organisation, is 70. In 1962, Dr. No, the first James Bond film, had its premiere in London. The Vatican described the film as a dangerous mixture of violence, vulgarity, sadism, and sex. That's also a description I would apply to the Catholic Church. Use of weapons, hasn't heard the name Robin Lane Fox since finished uni. Happy birthday to Clive Barker. Hey Mark Kenosis, glad you were eating a hearty brunch. Imran Khan, in my opinion. It's telling the Times that I don't have the energy to hate Bob Geldof much anymore. To too many other candidates. Dawn Foster forever, says Rick Tixie. Yes, Dawn Foster forever. And every time we mention Giles Corran, we recall that it would be better if Dawn was still here. On pages 28 and 29, world religions join Pope in climate appeal. Give us some of your money then. Only a narrow river keeps Taliban from nervous neighbours. That's a report from Tajikistan. Macron fuels colonial row with attack on Algeria's rulers, just trying to ratchet up the right wing ahead of the presidential election there. A woman has accused the late French President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing of fondling her under a table. Oh no, it's not just any woman, it's the former Danish Prime Minister. Yes, Helle Thorning-Schmidt, former Danish Prime Minister, claims that she was groped by Valéry Giscard d'Estaing when he was visiting Copenhagen in 2000 or 2003 in his late 70s as the head of the convention drafting the abortive EU constitution. Thorning-Schmidt, now 54, is married to Labour MP Stephen Kinnock. She was a senior social democrat in her mid-30s at the time. A French president, a sexual predator, that's shocking. I know, it's shocking, it's up there with the Catholic Church, isn't it? K9 Behaviour says, maybe close down the religious palaces would be great for the environment. Agreed. New Japanese leader calls snap election to tighten grip on power. Now, into the Times 2, front page of the Times 2 today. Sex on duty was seen by some of my colleagues as a perk of the job. This is people talking to female police officers about the behaviour of male police officers. My experience is that there were pockets where it was deeply toxic. Taking on one of the most senior people in policing felt like a recipe for disaster. Trust in the police, for most women, it's shattered. Feeling fat over 40, blame your testosterone, or blame the media for constantly putting this kind of thing in. Dubhane, Battle for Algiers should get Macron to watch Clockwork Orange style. Yeah. Use of weapons. Japan's election is on Halloween. The winning candidate is likely to be the girl from The Ring. Commuting again. It could be good for you. Really. Was this written by a commercial landlord? No, but it was written in favour of them. Squid Game, a series wrapping its tentacles around the world. Of course they're writing about that. I don't want to watch it. It sounds horrible, to be honest. Inside the not-so-glamorous world of the A-list grip and grin, Hattie Crisell on the stars with lucrative sidelines. Basically, you know, where you can get your photo taken with a celebrity. They also review Blair and Brown, the New Labour Revolution. It's a 4-star review from them. Right, let's see what's going on in the obituaries. In the business news, Patrick Austin says, tackle global warming through your pension, if only it were that simple. Facebook accused of betraying democracy. I think we knew that a long time ago. Francis Horgan, a former Facebook product manager, is now a whistleblower. Yeah. COVID knocked stuffing out of the owner of Ginsters. Yes, because Ginsters sells a lot of pasties through service stations. In the obituary, Sir John Chilcott. Blair has an alibi for this. Dubhane, police need to be de-established, state-funded presses, is what Dubhane has to say about that. Major General Matthew Holmes is also in the obits. Found dead October 2nd, 2021. He's briefly was head of the Marines and had a long military career before that. Use of weapons. Squid Game suggests that the correct and good North Korea is not good, and therefore I discard as a career track like ban BTS. Are you trying to get me in trouble with BTS fans? I can't be having that. Ferguson, Ole got it wrong. United Legend says manager made mistake by resting Portuguese striker for Everton game. There you go. That is the Times. Give me your scores for me. I don't know. No animal stories. A lot of insidious stuff in there. Let's say double negative nice, -69, -69. And finally we come to the Daily Mail, our final paper of the day. A 0 from Jane Pickering, the excellent Jane Pickering in the chat, with the classic Jane Pickering 0. Slinkermeyer with a quadruple negative nice. And Use of Weapons rates it tedious bollocks out of 10. Heathmore 2401 in with the double negative nice, and Gledster in with a solid 0. Let's do a roll call. It's great to see you, Jane. Good to see you. We're going to do... Hang on, let me put the Daily Mail up. Jane is a 10 out of 10. This is a fact. Right. I'm going to fire up the Daily Mail in there, but we'll do a roll call first. So in the roll call today, I'm the Broken Bottle Boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. Also on TikTok at Useless Conquest. I might do some more TikToks. Who knows? If you're following me there, you'll see them. Also in the chat, Ash Flaps McNulty, C122, H122. My literal father, K9 Behaviorist, is here. Commander Root, also here. Crawfish is here. Dr. Fayad, Dubhane, hey Dubhane, good to see you here. Arabs, Ehud Barat is here. Yu-Gi-Oh here, contributing fantastically to the chat. As is F2 Payat. Gladster, thank you for being here and for joining the chat. Also to Heathmore 2401, great contributions for you. Always excellent to see. Subscriber number 1 and excellent human being Jane Pickering here. Chronotherm, similarly excellent. Livishgal is here, Liv Myskeria is here, Logana9 is here, Mark Canos is here, late but always appreciated. MetaViews I think is a bot maybe? Are you a bot? Say if you're not. Albar Camus is here, one of my favourite names in the chat. Red Tickseed, thank you, always a brilliant contributor to the chat and just generally good. Rimastino, Roxius are here. Slinkermeyer, do check out her art, her photography is phenomenal. Same name on Instagram, go check it out. 1727 is in the chat. Spike Trap Claire is here, hello. Stream Elements is a bot. The Research Arena is here. I'm still thinking of topics you could do for future streams. Oh, yes, person in the room. Research Arena was asking if you would go on her stream and talk about love eggs, I think, and research that. Yes, so yes. We'll set that up. Tip Villas is in the chat. Use of Weapons is here. And V&K. Use of Weapons, thank you as ever for your great contributions in the chat as well. Okay. C122, H122 is not a bot. I know you're not a bot. You are a good contributor to the chat. Use of Weapons have to go teach some kids, possibly throw cardboard at them. Bye all. Bye. MetaViews. Dubhane gives the Times minus -007, James Bond Vatican. All right, here we go. Daily Mail, front page of the Daily Mail, top of the shop. Can you fit the clothes you wore at 21? It might save your life. No. And also, I don't want to wear those clothes. On the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, Glast 007. Bond singer will be youngest headline act at Glastonbury. But Billie Eilish started early. I think she'll do a great job. Main story, PM to tell Britain, get back to work. Which is offensive to all those people. Everybody's still been at work. In one way or another, anyone who had a job has been working in some way. The notion of that working at home is not working is farcical. And also many people in many professions have had to stop there. Billie Eilish is also an ops, says Chronotherm, which is certainly much more connected to the music industry than they initially said. Red Tick said, I can fit the clothes I wore when I was 18 and they fit me better now. How old are you now though, Red Tick said? Because I'm 37. Inside to Oldley Go, Captain Kirk off to space at 90, we covered that. Yard officer accused of raping date site woman in hotel room, again covered that. Picture of Rishi Sunak pointing in a way that really makes me angry. Mark Kenosis, I can fit the clothes I wore at age 21, but not the ones I wore at age 25, so what now? Confusing. Tip Villas, I cannot fit in the clothes I wore at 21 because at that point I was anorexic and under 50k. Jeez. Mick would say that working from home isn't work. Bias view. I didn't say working from home isn't work. I said it is work. Because that's what I do. I'm confused. Anyway, Pretty's plan for Asbo Blitz to bring Eco Mob to Hill. Jesus Christ. Delegate attacked by drunk member in a bar and Yobs lobbed traffic cone at ex-leader IDS. BBC may not exist in 10 years, says Doris. They're delighted about that. Another picture of Lashana Lynch in the blue latex skirt. Hairdresser to the stars needed face surgery after beating by his stepson. Blimey. On page 17, as Doctor Who actor John Barrowman is axed as judge from ITV's Dancing on Ice, how his self-confessed history of exposing himself has caught up with him at last. Star who skated on thin ice and finally fell through. This is Guy Adams, who always writes those hit pieces. Heathmore 2401, I can't fit in this close because I used to walk 2 miles to uni and I don't anymore. Internet meltdown. Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram go offline for hours in social media blackout. Again, a story that they've written that's already superseded by the time the paper was out. Just how long will Cressida cling on? I bet you that Cressida Dick stays on for the next 2 years. Suicide of Marines chief after split from wife is the headline the Daily Mail puts. Again, irresponsible. Putting it on one notion. Prime Minister pays tribute to Major General who was also sidelined in job. Just stop it. Can you fit into the clothes you wore when you were 21? They get various women to do that. Someone in their 40s, 50s and 60s. This stuff is insidious, dangerous, and contributes to eating disorders. Meet Jodie, Fireman Sam's ocean-saving friend who has a prosthetic leg. Cool. Can Nadine Dorris even tell us what the date will be in 10 years? No, I doubt it. Williams' racist tale to be axed from book, a story about Chinese boys to be removed from one of David Williams' children's books after it criticised for showing harmful stereotypes. Because it does. Murder arrests after woman 70 vanishes. Hollywood's a cruel town for actresses, and if you're over 40, forget it. A-list dinner parties from hell. Naked ageism. Towering egos. More waspish revelations from most gloriously indiscreet showbiz diaries for years. Yes, it's Dame Joan Collins' diaries. You don't know what image is meant to be, but you hate it. It is Rupert Murdoch as Doctor Doom. Under my face, if you move this box out of the way, you would see Lord Rothermere as the Red Skull. And if you move the paper box out of the way, you would see Boris Johnson as Loki. It's about how the Tory extended universe creates new characters to fill. Yeah, anyway, go to the newsletter and you'll find out. brokenbottleboard@substack.com. Okay, today in the On This Day October 5th, 2021, October 5th, 1981. On On the ice, Chris Dean and Jane Torville are to their competitors what hot gossip are to the Tiller girls. While the couple's rivals seem in the main to stick to come dancing costumes, rashes of sequins and routines deep frozen in the 50s, Dean and Torville offer a sense of the theatre, mime and atmosphere of excitement. October 5th, 2002, British terrorist Richard Reed laughed yesterday as he pleaded guilty to trying to blow up a transatlantic flight using a shoe plaqued with explosives. The 29-year-old Londoner is now expected to spend the rest of his life in prison. Reed described himself as a follower of Osama bin Laden, admitting to his crimes in a Boston court.
He's still in prison.
What's that, Richard Reed?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And there was a lot of dodginess around that. Happy birthday. Stephanie Cole is 80, Glynis Johns 98. Born on this day, Louis-Jean Lumière, 1864 to 1948, French engineer who, with Auguste, his brother, was a pioneer of cinematography. They invented an early combination of motion picture camera and projector called the cinematograph. They used it to produce Lunch Break at the Lumière factory in 1985, considered to be the first motion picture. Yeah, take that, Tiller girls, you stupid bastards, says Markanosis. Shoe bomber back in the day, yeah, old school. And Herbert Kretzmer, 1925 to 2020, South African-born ex-Daily Mail TV critic, made his fortune writing the lyrics to the musical Les Miserables. One song, Do You Hear the People Sing, is a protest anthem, including in Hong Kong and mainland China, where it was banned on streaming platforms. He also wrote Goodness Gracious Me for Peter Sellers and Sophia Loren. Oh dear. On October 5th, 1962, Dr. No, the first Bond film starring Sean Connery and Ursula Andress, was released. We've covered that. And in 1999, Ladbroke Grove rail crash in West London killed 31 people and injured more than 400. Joke of the day. Where do sheep go on holiday? Barbados. Yeah. Cinque de Mayo, Lumiere, now more known as a candlestick. Cinematograph, it'll never catch on, says Red Tixie. Liz Hurley wore a swimming suit. A bloke was told he was infertile, turned out he wasn't. Load of recipes. Tiny tweaks to banish your aches and pains. Okay, I might read that. How a third of electric shock therapy patients have it without their consent. Well, that's horrendous. In the TV recommendations, Blair and Brown, The New Labour Revolution gets 2 stars. Eggheads gets 4 stars. TV pick tonight is Murder Island, 9:30 on Channel 4. In the cartoons, Garfield and John are talking about cereal in Chloe & Co. Chloe's friend says she's involved with her lecturer. Oh dear. Well, I imagine you've talked to him about it. I certainly have. I'm involved with him too. So that's Chloe and her friend sitting down and drinking, this time coffee, not booze, but nonetheless sitting down, as the cartoonists in Chloe & Co. cannot draw people stood up. Fred Bassett, his owner is trying to construct some furniture. It's not going well. Fred is watching and trying to, just give moral support. Today's poem is Fishy Business. There can't be any better place, when all is said and done, than sitting peacefully right here, relaxing in the sun. I'm in the boat with fishing rods, but plan a lazy ride. Have switched the noisy engine off, so drifting with the tide. The view is unbelievable, no other boat in sight. The coastline stretches far and wide, a pure scenic delight. My little town looks picturesque away across the bay, while all the circling seagulls are my soulmates for the day. Oh no, there's something happening. The wretched line's gone taut. I'd rather hope that nothing would disturb the peace I sought. But now I've caught a flipping fish, which really is a bore. I'll throw it back into the sea, then I can laze once more. That's Sheila Chisnell of Brixham, Devon. Could you not, Sheila? And I.G. Fenner, frequently in this poem column, contributes a limerick. Said Boris, though je suis anglaise, when in France je parle en français. So for bonhommie's sake, donnez-moi un break, and prenez un grip s'il vous plaît. No. Chronotherm says Chloe can't stand up because it would reveal her Q handle to be masculine. I too really wish I didn't understand that. That's by far the best poem we've had yet. Yeah, it's still bad. Fishy Rishi, Seagulls and Gannets, says Starpain. Straight to the point letters. Peter Chapman of Barnsley says, does anyone know where I can buy a dinghy in Dover? Carol Owen of Lancashire says, some 400 people from 190 countries attended a climate summit in Milan. Did they all walk there? Mick Brigstock says, if the lights go out, So will you, Prime Minister. Brian Morris says, there is an old farming adage, never look to the skies for a living. It applies to energy production too. M. Busby turns up quite a lot. These e-scooters are so stupid and dangerous. Why aren't they called smart scooters? Glennis Edwards says, sky-high gas prices will sort out the working from home brigade. Barry Davis says, if we're gonna continue to sell off anything of value to US hedge funds, why not just make us the 51st state? Perhaps Old England? P. Reynolds says, in the name of wokery, if we cannot say batsman, is it okay to say balls? Well, what I will say, P. Reynolds, is that your balls are not actually shaped like balls, are they? And Tony George says, sorry boss, no petrol, so I'll have to work from home again. Oh dear. And finally, Chris Pearce of Melcham says, when did be prepared become just in time and just ran out? Today's recipe is chipotle red pepper soup. The soup looks fine. Here's an absolutely insanely ugly thing. You thought that the Harry Potter thing was bad? Oh no. No, my friends. First ever Thomas Kincaid White Christmas masterpiece snowman measures an impressive 10 inches tall. Tells you a lot about the Daily Mail's writers, doesn't it? You pay nothing now, but when you get it, you'll want to pay £120.95 for this. A snowman with a village inside his stomach. It's made of the finest crystal. Beautiful on its own. You can easily enhance your festive display with lights and movement. Jesus Christ. £129. Derbyshire migrant in Lancashire, I see there, broken bottle boy. Listen, you don't know. Mark Gnosis wants that. Wants the crystal snowman to be put in his coffin as a fuck you to future archaeologists. Moleskin jeans they're trying to sell you as well. Available in the colours of Loden, Indigo and Pine. Fetching. And finally, in the sport, Britain's world champ on playing cards, fighting Wilder and putting the bins out. Yeah, it's Tyson Fury with his dog. What is the dog called? Doesn't say. Dog Wilder. There we go. Nightmare Mr. Frosty. Yeah, there's worst thing ever, says C122, H120. Pretty awful, yeah. Ashes standoff. England demand tour guarees, which the Aussies refuse to give. We are a pro-dog stream. A fully pro-dog. I come from a pro-dog family. I run a pro-dog stream. Right. Thank you for joining me today on today's episode of The Paper Thing. Once again, thank you to person in the room for yesterday's able stand-in performance. Of course,
high-fiving you.
Nothing better than the real thing. No, it's very good. It's very good. I'm going to watch the rest later. If you want to watch the rest of that, or watch that episode at all, it's on YouTube, as this episode will be later. In the meantime, do consider throwing some coins into the paper fund, which helps pay for this show. But also, if you don't want to do that, you can subscribe here on Twitch, or you can get a subscription to the newsletter. Subscribe to the newsletter for free, and then if you like it, upgrade to the premium version. C122, H122, we are a pro person in the room. We are. Person in the room is excellent. Yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. In the meantime, canine behavior is father. Exactly, that's why I'm pro dog. Person in the room was very excited about the coins yesterday. Were you?
I mean, I was excited that there were no coins until they got to the bit where they could send you coins, and then I got very enthusiastic about that. Okay.
It's good. It's good. She loves coins now, says Red Tixie. That's what I heard.
That's a lie.
That's what I heard. Everyone's Mark Knight will be missing tomorrow, sadly. Okay, well, do check it out. Do watch it on YouTube. Back at 1 tomorrow. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It does really help. In the meantime, catch me on Twitter, catch me on YouTube. Find me where you like. But I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Boop, 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 boop.